And that's Boiler Beach. That is Turn It to 11. We're going to talk about that track, some other stuff that these guys have put out the last while. And we're going to talk all things independent music tonight. So we'll be talking about some of their challenges, some things that they come up against, some things that they've done that they think they've done well, and things that they're doing that are maybe a little bit different in terms of things that could help you or help other people like you that are independent artists. We do have a lot of independent artists who watch the show, and so it's really cool to have independent artists on here helping me to host the show. It's really great having these guys here tonight. These guys have been around for a while. They play all over southwestern Ontario and probably even northern Ontario. I think they've been up in Timmins and places like that, where it's, this time of year, not so cold as it was earlier on. Can you imagine going up there when it was like, sub-zero? That would have been more than sub-zero. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to try and bring them on here all at once. I don't know how this is going to work, so we're probably going to bring Andrea and Terry on first. Let's get them there. They're here. There they are. And I'm going to get rid of that video. And then we're going to bring Mike on. There's Mike there.
Hi, Mike. Superstar Mike.
We got everybody here.
Yes.
All right.
The family is here. You guys have been together for a while, the three of you. How long have you guys been a band?
We started in 2019.
So just before the world changed and got stupid.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. That video was recorded in the summer of 2020. All the street was closed down for so that vendors and stores could actually put their stuff outside as a COVID measure. And in our little town here, we didn't have one business go under during COVID because the town was very proactive in making sure that there were opportunities for people to run their businesses. So it was quite a trying time, but it was a great time to come together too.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys are a little bit in terms of where you're located. You're somewhat isolated. You live in a beach town, basically.
Yeah, in the wintertime, especially the highways around us close more often than not. Look at this.
Nice.
Like your shirt. That looks awesome on you. Yes.
I look good in black, hey?
Can't argue with it.
That's a great shirt. I really appreciate that. You guys were the only band, only artist on my record label to send me a Christmas card this year. That was so cool.
Is that right?
Oh my gosh.
I think I've got it here. Hang on a second. Here it is right here.
There it is.
Yeah, celebrating
there it is.
Our Christmas album that you
celebrating your Christmas album that has done extremely well, by the way.
Yeah, there's some of the tracks are still seeing play, and it's March.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand that.
It's really crazy. I mean, when you guys said you were going to do a Christmas album, I'm like, geez, I don't know about that. Like, how's that going to go? And is it gonna work? And it did. It's done extremely well.
Yeah, and we're pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys got a lot of radio play of some of the songs on there as well, right?
Yeah, we worked pretty hard on each single release to try to get it on to terrestrial radio and internet radio, and get things reviewed from different bloggers and any kind of media we can get to. I send out a press release. I bug people consistently and constantly, and so we're on. I think it's about 12 terrestrial radio stations right now.
Yeah, I mean the whole album, is there's some Christmas classics on there. They're old Christmas classics. Yeah. A lot of people would recognize them. I mean, so old that we had conversations about that in terms of the publishing piece of it. And then you guys have an original on there as well, Christmas by the Lake.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that one, Terry, you wrote most of that.
Yeah, I came up with the concept of it, of somebody coming from the city to a beach town, and kind of that contrast and being appreciative of where I am right now and everything that we do together.
It might be based on a true story.
Maybe.
Oh, it could be based on a true story. I mean, and it sounds like. I mean, you guys, live by the lake. You guys are like near the shores of Lake Huron.
Yeah, we're just 5 minutes away from Lake Huron by foot.
Yeah, one of the I'd have to say probably I like Lake Huron probably the best of all the Great Lakes.
Yeah, we're not going to split hairs, except maybe for Michigan. But we love. I'm just kidding. But we love all the lakeside towns. I love the community here. It's fantastic here in Kincardine. We get a ton of support.
So do you guys call yourself Kincardinites?
I mean, I think Mike and I can probably call ourselves that, Mike?
For sure.
You and Mike went to school together, right?
We did, yeah. He was Mike. You were a couple of years ahead of me, but not by much.
Yeah, I would say it's probably been close to 25 years that we've known each other now.
Yeah. He told me he failed on purpose so he could catch up to him.
You didn't have to do that. Come
Great
on.
night. The toughest 5 years of his life.
And Terry, you didn't grow up in Kincardine. You come from another part of the country.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up most of my life in just west of Toronto, so Mississauga and Burlington, those areas. Lived in Toronto proper for a while. Moved up this way 10 years ago.
Big city boy moves to the rural community.
Yeah, my ex-wife and I were looking for more space for the kids, really, and smaller school rather than, they were in kindergarten school. Their classes were 300 people, like not each class, but there were 300 kindergarten kids in this one school in Burlington. So, I mean, it's how do you get individual attention like that?
Right. So it's kind of nice to move to a smaller community for that kind of opportunity, right? Now, being in a smaller community for you guys, what kind of challenges does that place on you as a band?
Well, I think for starters, our primary kind of audience isn't here. This is largely kind of like a country / blues loving area.
Bagpipes.
Oh, and bagpipes, excuse me. Yes. And we don't have any of those things in our music. So if we want to reach people that are going to appreciate what we do have to do a little bit of traveling. It's just a bit more of a trek to get in front of the right people that are going to appreciate us and what we do and want to support us. But at the same time, we try and stay active on social media quite a lot. And, we also try to make sure that we're drawing from different influences musically, not just keeping it focused on one genre.
Yeah. And I mean, the flip side of that is because we started out, we wanted to keep it fun. We focus on fun. We're very family friendly. We're not a kid band, but kids love us. So
wonder why.
So we get invited to do a lot of things by the municipality and by other organizations around the area to perform.
I think they froze up. Mike, you're gonna have to carry the torch for a minute. They just froze up. You can use the clicker on them now.
Yeah. I would say one of the challenges for being from a small town like this is playing too often. Like there was one summer where we played a lot of shows in town, and it was just kind of like, are we overdoing it in our own little area here?
Right.
And then I think it was last summer we only played Canada Day was the only major show that we did. So, but you get a lot of support from friends and family.
Right. And you guys have had to do some traveling. As Andrea mentioned, you guys have had to do some traveling outside of your local area. We just lost them. Oh, Andrew just came back on. Hang on a second. We'll see if we can get them back up. There they are. Something with wonky, guys. We lost
There we go.
We lost you for a second.
Yeah, we just hopped over to my phone.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry about that.
A little bit of a glitch because all of a sudden you guys froze up, and it was like I said to Mike, I said, you can do whatever you want. You can slap them.
So Mike was telling stories, was he?
Yeah. So we were just talking about some of the challenges, and Mike was saying that you guys, played a lot of shows more recently. You guys played a lot of shows in the Kincardine area, and then got away from that because you're branching out to other places now. You guys play in Owen Sound. You guys played in Timmins, and then last week you guys all drove down to Sarnia.
That's right.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was just this past weekend. We're just going to move over to another spot down in the studio here. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox, but we're going to make this work for everybody. And I really can't see us on my little screen on my phone.
It is what it is.
Well, this okay?
You guys are in screen. You guys look good.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Right.
We're pretty good. We're trying to branch out a little bit, and that's one of the challenges about small town is it's very easy to just get stuck in the small town and just play the same places all over and over and over again. And we really don't want to do that. We want to be bigger than that, to be frank.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys have done a great job of putting yourselves out there. I mean, your social media, you got 4,400 people that follow you on social media, which is really, really cool. Something weird just happened there. Your other one, Andrea and Terry camera, just popped back up again. It must have been no, I'll just get rid of it. I'll just remove you there. That's good.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's been a shift there in terms of you guys started out like everybody else with no followers on social media, and on your Facebook alone built up to 4,400 people that are following you. Yeah. What do you guys find to be the most challenging in terms of getting engagement from those followers?
Well, I think part of the challenge is figuring out what people are looking for in the first place. Like, what kind of content are they interested in? What kind of content do they just kind of glaze over and keep scrolling, sometimes we get, like, what would you say? Our joke videos. We have dad joke videos that we put out now because it's part of our show, is like really bad jokes and good music, right? So so yeah, like we've put out some joke videos, and those have gotten quite a lot of engagement from people that really, like, they know what we do. They've followed us for a while. They've been at many shows, and they're just like, oh, come on, Terry, you can do worse than that. Or they're kind of in on it. So there's part of it is understanding what your community is kind of expecting from you, and the other part of it is to actually deliver on that, because right. you show a certain side of yourself, I guess, when you're performing live, and it has to carry over to your social media. Like it needs to be a snapshot here or a video there or something like that.
Yeah, consistent. Show your personality.
Yeah.
What would you guys and I want to hear from all three of you on this one. What did you consider, like, in 2024? Because you guys been around since since 2019. In 2024, being around for like 5 years, you hit that 5-year mark. What did you consider to be sort of your greatest success up to that date?
Mike, we'll let you go first.
Let me go first.
Yeah.
They're setting you up, Mike.
Oh, I know. Got to think about this one. I mean, so in 2022 and 2023, we played a Scottish festival that happens every year in Kincardine. And it attracts a lot of people, and they usually get some fairly big bands. And we got to open on the Friday night in 2022. And then in 2023, we played the Friday night and the Sunday afternoon. And I'd been watching bands on that stage since, I think, the first Scottish festival. I was 16 years old. And I always thought to myself how cool it would be to be up on that stage playing in front of all these people. And then, 20 some odd years later, I got to play on that stage to those people. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really neat experience, because you don't always expect that to happen.
It wasn't the biggest stage, but it was a big point for me to be able to say that I was there.
Excellent. What about you guys? What about you, Terry and Andrew? What do you consider to be, to date, your greatest success?
Honestly, I think the greatest success for me is just the fact that I've put myself out there more as a singer, as a songwriter, as a multi-instrumentalist, as a producer, as all of these, well, as wearing all of these hats that I've kind of just worn in the privacy of my own home. I did have solo music that I would play on occasion before this, before having Boiler Beach. But I wouldn't be, actively looking for shows or anything. I would only really play if somebody asked me to. So I wasn't really chasing it. And then Terry came along, we met, and, sparks flew, etc. We had music in common, and he wanted to do big things, and he really liked what I could bring to the table. So he's kind of largely lifted me up into a space that I don't think I ever would have lifted myself into had we not met. So the band for me is, more than anything, it's symbolic of personal growth, and I'm a big fan of personal growth. A lot of our original songs are based in personal growth messages. The lyrics that I write are they're just there to uplift people, or at least to let people know, like, hey, I know how you feel, you're not alone. And there's something really special about being able to put that out so effectively now that, I've had somebody come up to me before and let me know, like, somebody I don't know. I've had them come up to me before and say, I heard your song Misfit on the radio and it just spoke to me, and that's why I'm here at this show right now.
Right.
So it's the connection with people that I don't really think I could fully fathom before, and I wasn't putting myself out there. So that's it for me.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Terry, what about you?
I think one of the coolest things that happened last year, I mean, I don't disagree with Andrea or Mike. I think those are really, really cool things that have happened.
Definitely.
I think one of the coolest things that happened last year in particular was when we put together our cover of Together Right by Finger 11.
Yeah, that was really cool too.
And I actually had Rick Jacket on my Facebook friends list because he actually went to high school with my ex-wife. So I sent him a message when I heard the song on the radio, and I heard that it was the #1 rock song in Canada. I sent him a message and I said, congratulations on having the #1 rock song. I really love it. Would it be cool if we covered that song? And he's like, go ahead, go crazy. So we did. And then we had tickets to go see Finger 11 with the Econoline Crush at the Imperial in Sarnia. And so that was coming up. And I pushed Andrea to get this video put together. We shot it right here in our basement. I pushed Andrea to get that put together and get the audio done.
I did it in a day.
she got it put together. And we
oh my God! Okay.
We sent a message to Rick Jacket and like, hey, here's the video. Is this cool? Can we post this? And he said, me and the boys watched it in the van and it's perfect. It's great. Put it out there. We met him after the show and had a really good chat. That to me was real validation.
Right.
I really felt like we could stand beside that caliber of performer.
Right. I got a comment here from the chat room. I'm going to put it up there. This is from Keith Hill. He says, the greatest success we experience is the number of lives we've touched, either through live music or recordings. But traveling, touring, and touching lives is the greatest thing as we as musicians could ever experience, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
And we hope to do a heck of a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Keith. Speaking of that, I mean, you guys have like you guys are, you tell you're tout yourselves as a fun band, a band that likes to have fun and have a good time at a show. So, Andrea, tell everybody what the green hair is all about.
So in short,
And that's not your real hair. That's not your real hair. It's a pin on, just so everybody knows that.
Yeah, so
it's costume.
It's a costume. It's a hair extension. I don't go to my day job at a financial planning office looking like this to sit in the dark and do marketing for them. But no, the hair is basically just about being okay with being seen. I hid kind of in the shadows a lot growing up and stuff. I didn't have excellent self-esteem. Actually, I had no self-esteem. None. Thanks, high school bullies, assholes. Anyways, and beyond.
You're actually in very good company. You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I was reading a book. I'm reading a book right now called Traveling Music by Neil Peart.
Right.
And he was bullied in school.
Right.
So, you're not alone there, right? And you're in good company with very famous people that have had the very same struggle and had to go through that whole process. And that does have a negative impact on one's self-esteem.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it's what you do about it.
Yeah. So like with my earlier solo stuff, it was very introspective and also kind of based in personal growth. But that was kind of my way of thinking through everything that I was feeling. Because we can feel like crap and just shrug our shoulders and be like, oh well, I'm gonna go over here and do this thing now. Or we can consciously recognize I feel uncomfortable and I want to understand why. So, and I was making a bunch of bad decisions, as people tend to do when they're younger. And that really bubbled up a whole bunch of different emotions for me. And I just made songs out of them. But those songs were for me in the beginning. And then people would hear the odd one and they really wanted me to record it, or they wanted to hear it again. And then I was like, well, okay, sure. Like maybe I'll go to an open mic and see what happens there. But I was still shy and I wore just like lots of black, and I tried to just hide in plain sight. So the hair, back to your original question, is I know I'm long-winded. I'm sorry, not sorry. The hair is me giving myself permission to be seen in a very loud way.
Right. Right. And I mean, and you guys, you're all about the fun when you guys play on stage. You like to, poke fun at yourselves, poke fun at other people, have jokes, have a good time, and be known as, you can be a party band and you can also be a family fun event as well.
Yeah, we don't think that being a party band means,
like carrying on,
doing drugs and being crass. It's we have kids as well.
Yeah.
And we want our kids to have positive influences to look up to as well. And I've been in punk bands since I was 20, well, even before. And there's been times where it's just all about, swearing and cursing and
right.
Who can get the most drunk on stage and stuff. And you know what? I'm not 25 anymore as well. That's part of it too.
So you bring sort of the punk factor to the band.
Well, old punk, don't say it.
Old.
Real old punk.
Real old. Like, original punk. Let's call it original punk. Like Sex Pistols and The Clash and Teenage Head and The Forgotten Rebels and, Black Flag and all these old like DOA and the oi bands and stuff like that. Like that.
Right.
That's what I did for close to 20 years down in Hamilton.
So those were influences for you. What about you, Mike? What influences did you have coming to the table?
Mine would be newer punk or pop punk. I was a huge Green Day fan. When their first mainstream album dropped, I was 10 years old, and I heard it on the radio and I loved it. And then got into like Blink 182 and bands like that, which were just kind of fun, happy. Even the sad songs sounded happy, and I just gravitated towards that.
Now, was music always your thing, or did that come later for you?
I got a guitar for Christmas when I was 16. But never serious. Like I never seriously learned how to play any instrument really. Any of the bands I was in, we never really practiced, never really played shows. So it was a lot later when I actually kind of got serious about playing. I think it was when I joined Boiler Beach is when I actually started to think about music as a career instead of a hobby.
And you took up the drums.
Yeah.
And at what point did you take up the drums?
Pretty much when we started the band in 2019. Before that, I just kind of played around on drum sets here and there. Like if a friend of mine had a drum set when I was over there, I'd play it. But that was really about it. I never really had any lessons or really actually know how to play them. But it worked. And I mean, we had a lot of time to practice before our first show. And Terry and Andrea are really good at encouraging me to try new things and not just stick to the same stuff and to branch out. And yeah, it was good.
And Andrea, your musical influences, like you when you met Terry, you were playing more like folk style music.
That's right. Yeah, acoustic folk singer songwriter. That was my jam. But I have all sorts of influences. I listened like through the years. I've listened to everything from Tool to Blink 182 to Alanis Morissette to Sarah McLachlan and Jewel to Destiny's Child, the Beach Boys. I freaking loved the Beach Boys when I was little. I would harmonize with, the cassette tape. I'd play the cassette tape and I would harmonize with the Beach Boys. So, yeah, I just, there was some rap thrown in there too, a little bit of funk. Yeah, I fit. Like the thing or how I feel about music is every genre has something to appreciate about it. Yeah. I don't really hate any kind of music. I see value in all of it, and there's definitely something to appreciate, whether it's the quality of the production that's happening in the background of the song itself, or if it's just like a really phenomenal vocal performance or awesome harmonies, or just that the twinkle, the sparkle.
Right.
I always find that.
What do you like? You guys? I guess it's really hard to put you guys in a specific genre because some of your music has a punk feel to it, some of it has an alternative feel to it. There's definitely a bit of a sort of a rock influence there as well.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of by design. When we started the band and after our first show, it was really just after our first show, we got together and we're like, wow, we have something pretty good here. The audience was so receptive. We need to keep doing this. Let's keep it fun and let's keep it kind of multi-genre so that when we're playing for people, if there's a dude there in a cowboy hat, he's going to have one song he likes out of the set, at least one. And then if there's a goth girl, she's going to have one. And there's an old metalhead, he's going to have one.
Yep.
And so that kind of trickled into our originals as well, in a way, in that we're not looking to be pigeonholed. We're not looking to define ourselves narrowly. We're looking to reach as many people as we can by having things be a little different from track to track. I mean, we have a Celtic track, for God's sakes, right? I mean, there's, there nothing's really off the table as to what we can try if the mood hits and the writing is good, the message is good,
or if someone just wants to mention the word underpants in a song.
Yeah.
You guys put out an original tune for St. Patty's Day as well.
That's
yes,
the one.
we did. Yeah. That was Terry's brainchild as well.
That's done okay. 2 weeks, I think it got 250 streams.
I think it got a lot more than that when you figure out the plays on the video and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. I'm just talking pure on Spotify.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about streaming services, and this is, we've had this conversation several times, the downside of it is, people don't make a lot of money from streaming services, but what streaming services offer that artists never had an opportunity before was to get reach, to get discovery, and to get engagement. Those kinds of things didn't exist. I mean, last year alone, just in, and I'm just quickly looking at your stats
Right.
over the last year here. So from this time last year to now, you guys were heard in over 40 countries.
Yeah.
What do you think your most streamed country is? What do you think your highest listeners are?
I think the last time I looked, I think it was the U.S.
That's right, U.S. Yeah, U.S. Almost 3 times the listening than in Canada.
Yeah.
So obviously, your music is striking a chord with people, there. But you've got, listeners in the UK, and that could be that punk factor, right? You got listeners in Poland and Germany, Sweden, Ireland. Just think about that level of reach. You could never have done that just releasing a CD. How many countries do you think you could get a CD into without a major record label?
Just the cost, never mind.
Yeah.
And it's the streaming, and it's I think a large part of it as well is the social media stuff we can't discount, because we have made a lot of connections through social media. We connected with you through social media.
Yep.
That's right. Yep.
And we also connected with, a bunch of different internet radio shows through social media that are international. So that's huge for us too. I'm sure a lot of those international Spotify streams were secondary after hearing us on, say, the Indies with Marky show, or the Ross Music show, or the old, Ralphie's Music of the World.
Yeah. Any
one of those shows streams on multiple different internet radio stations internationally. We're streaming on Indies with Marky alone. We're streaming from England, Scotland, France, Germany, all over the USA, Tenerife, which is the Canary Islands,
Japan,
Australia, and now Japan.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And again, it hasn't cost us a damn thing except for some time and building network.
And I look at last year. Again, this time last year to this time this year, your music was streamed just on Spotify over 83,000 times.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's
pretty crazy.
We
doubled our total streams last year.
Yeah, your music. We got some saves. We got a whole bunch of saves. We got 938 playlist ads. And you guys have 306 regular followers now on Spotify. And then, over the whole course of the year, you had an average of about 600 listeners at any given time.
That's wild.
That's awesome. And I was like, it's so funny too, because when, I don't see these numbers. It's not my role in the band at all.
Right.
Production
yeah, production is my role in the band, and to show up looking like a human Muppet. But
and you and I have been back and forth on the production thing a few times. I mean, you'll
Yes.
send stuff to me and you go, "Can you give that a listen and tell me if you think this is too shrill or that's too much or
Yes.
whatever?" Right?
I really like to get that second and third and fourth opinion before I send anything, and call it done. But yeah, I was like, just the other day, I was having these thoughts, and I'm sure every indie musician or any musician or artist of any kind, really, they all have this thought where it's like, does anybody give a shit? And what are we doing? And not seeing those numbers, it's easy to kind of fall into that from time to time.
Right.
That kind of thought process. But I always remind myself, like, this is going to pass. Like, we've spent the last 5.5 years.
Yeah.
We spent the last 5.5 years building this, and we've seen growth, and I've seen super fans come out to shows.
Mm-hmm.
And we're continuing to work on music, and it's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I wanted to bring that up because for anyone that's watching, it's really important to keep perspective. Like, we're going to have those moments where it's like, well, what is it all for? And is it worth it? Is anything happening?
Yeah.
We're going to have those moments, but keeping an eye on like the long-term game is really helpful.
You guys had 3 singles out before we got together. We actually just recently celebrated a 1-year anniversary that we didn't celebrate together because your single "My Own Way" came out last year. We released that February 23rd of 2024.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it to me was again another departure from previous releases. It was a different sound yet again for the band. And oftentimes, a lot of artists will tell you that the first few releases is always about figuring out your sound, whatever your sound is going to be. Right. And then some bands don't need to be pigeonholed. Right.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping we're in the latter.
Yeah. I mean, when I had Gord Pryor on from Blue Bones, same thing. If you listen to their music, you can't pigeonhole it in any particular genre because every release sounds different from the rest. And you can't even sometimes tell it's the same band.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah, we at least I aside from the St. Patrick's Day song, I do sing lead on all of those, all of our songs. So that's one thing that's unmistakable about our music, no matter if it's more on the rock side or the pop punk side or funk or wherever we go next.
Yeah.
My voice is always going to be there.
I think you need to do some more of those, from the van, shorts, for reels on Facebook and Instagram. Cross post them. The Instagram right now for everybody is a big challenge.
Right.
And yet it's a platform that as artists you don't want to ignore because there's as many users out there on Instagram as there are on other platforms.
We're at about 780 followers, I think, on Instagram right now.
Instagram takes a little bit longer to organically grow an audience. It's not an easy task. In fact, some of the artists on the label are doing targeted sponsored ads on Instagram because of just the way its algorithms work. Just one minute you think you've got it figured out, and then it switches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of geared that way.
Yeah.
Um,
It's supposed to be so that you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram's supposed to be.
Oh, the carrot's here. Oh, now it's over there. Oh, it's over here.
supposed to be
carrot's here now.
It's supposed to be organic, and
Jesus.
my understanding of it is that they work very hard to make sure that you can't kind of figure out the system so that you can exploit it.
Yeah, I mean the sponsored ads, some that are putting together, it really does help artists to reach their target audience.
Yeah,
because it does. When you figure out a target audience, sometimes, I mean, you've got to look at whether there's, whatever you're deciding your return on investment is. Because if you're looking for a return on investment that's going to be money, it's not likely going to happen.
right.
If that return on investment is to find more of your target market of people that are going to dig what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
then that might be an exploratory thing that might be worth spending a few bucks on, because it's something that goes, okay, we can get things out in front of more of our target audience and then continue to develop that organic growth once we discover what that target audience is on that platform. Because Instagram tends to be more Gen Zers, tends to
Right.
be more millennials than platforms like Facebook are more for like old guys like me.
Yeah.
And Facebook in some ways is good and it's bad too, because the algorithms in Facebook are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who sees our posts? I mean, we don't even know who's really seeing our posts most of the time.
I mean, the cool thing about it is that you guys picking up 300 regular followers on Spotify. And this is one of the things that I tell artists that could be one of the things that helps you every time you do a release, because that is one place that people get notified every time you put new music out.
Right.
And because it's content driven, and of course they're all content driven now, and you can thank YouTube for that. YouTube has made it kind of difficult for people that are putting music out, because there's that expectation that you're going to be putting out new content at least on a regular basis.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, we're working on that too.
You guys did great in 2024. I mean, you had a lot of releases throughout 2024. It was kind of spread out, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we really pushed for that Christmas album at the end.
Yeah. And it did all right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole album has, I would say, probably in the neighborhood of 40,000 or so streams.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
In total. And that's pretty good for, you guys putting out old classic Christmas songs and then one original on there as well. And then, Christmas by the Lake did pretty well on its own.
Yeah. And I mean, that was really only out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, it was only out 6 weeks. And again, it's a seasonal thing. So it's something that we want to really, revive again.
Oh, yeah.
People start thinking about Christmas in November.
Every single year.
Right.
That was the point of it, was to give us that boost every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I think once we get past, once we get past Remembrance Day, then, the gloves come off and maybe it's time to do a Christmas by the Lake video.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been thinking about that too.
And put that out this year and see how well that does.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to you guys before, one of the things that we found, and it was kind of by accident, kind of by design, people were putting out videos for the longest time, but nobody was necessarily embedding the tracks that were on the videos with metadata.
Right. So
And
that's lost plays information. Like it's
yeah, it was lost
Yeah.
plays information. It was, lost opportunities to make potentially make some royalties.
Mhm.
Some of the things that we're seeing now in terms of, where we're getting royalties from are things like even like impressions, Facebook impressions, Instagram impressions on Snapchat and TikTok,
Right.
of all places. So there's different ways to find little bits and pieces of royalties. It's just trying to figure out all the ways to collect it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. That always ends up being a bit of a mystifying challenge for a lot of artists is trying to figure out how to collect it. And we've certainly moved in the right direction that way in the last 2 or 3 years with the label. When I started the label nearly 10 years ago, most people didn't even know what ISRCs were.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the lyric videos that we did for Christmas by the Lake and for the St. Patrick's Day song, those both had the properly encoded tracks embedded.
That's right. That's right.
So
And we were
that's-
able to earn we were able to earn money off YouTube ads.
Mm,
And I mean, they don't pay a lot. You're talking fractions of pennies when
Right.
when you get YouTube ads, but at least it's another revenue stream. It's one that maybe didn't even exist before.
right.
Yeah.
And that's
Every
what we're
little
looking.
bit helps.
Yeah,
Every
we're
little
looking
bit.
for every little bit that helps, but we're also looking at, getting you more engagement, looking at where places that you guys could go. I mean, you guys are not, you guys have a mobile trailer too.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Our mobile stage is it was such a gift to receive, and we are doing everything we can to make the most of that. We are marketing heavily towards getting that out as much as possible. Right now, we have a softball tournament that we're doing. We have a street party in Port Elgin that we're doing. We have a fundraiser in Point Clark. We have another fundraiser in Paisley. We just found out yesterday we're playing the Ripley reunion with the mobile concert stage. So it's starting to happen. Oh, campgrounds! It's great for campground parties.
Oh, yeah.
And your mobile concert stage is full production, right?
That's
yeah.
correct. Yeah, it's outfitted with sound and lights and a drum riser, and we have a support trailer as
Right.
well that we take to shows, and
Do
that
you guys
has
do you guys have a generator set up as well, so you
Yes.
can run off
yes, we
generator?
do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we have 7,000 watts of power, so we can power the whole thing.
That's cool. I mean,
you don't. All we need is space.
pop-up concerts. Pop-up
Right,
concerts.
That's right.
Right?
Now we have done our own just pop-up concerts, and those are fine. But the point of the stage really is to get out for corporate events, municipal events,
Mhm.
private parties. It's to pay.
Yeah.
It's to keep us financially able to do a lot of the other things that we're doing.
Right.
I mean, you play venue shows, and every artist will be able to tell you stories. Pardon me, about playing to the other bands that are playing that night,
Yeah.
or playing to the bartender. We played 3 St. Patrick's Day shows on the weekend, and it cost us money because there just were not people out. And it's a little heartbreaking because you put a lot of effort into a live show. I think we put on a really good show every time we go out, and the people that were there, we absolutely loved them, and we were engaged, and we've made some new fans, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, they were a great crowd. It was like,
Great
take 12 people, but they're giving you the energy of 50 people. Like it was, they were great crowds, but they were
sparse,
very sparse. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a challenge. I mean, and for any artist that's trying to make somewhat of a living off their music, staying financially solvent is a difficult task.
Well, if you're going to put on a big show as well, it costs money.
Mhm.
And we don't want to do any. We don't want to go in halfway. We want to give people the full experience.
And I said early on when we were really looking at this as a possible business, I said early on that I would love to employ like 50 people
Yeah.
under the Boiler Beach name. So whether they're crew or like whoever we might be able to give a job to.
We have a fourth member of the band right now. He's at work, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. But we have a drummer, and Mike is doing second guitar and occasional bass.
And that frees me up to do synth or accordion or whatever else I want to pick up, or just do, or like a lead guitar,
Right.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just go with a microphone.
And I mean, he's hired. We hired him.
Yeah. So he gets paid like no matter what we make.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's the arrangement we made with him.
Yeah.
And but that we'd like to do more of that, and in order to do that, we have to take jobs that are going to pay. So
and therein lies a challenge, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
the challenge is finding the paying gigs, those that are profitable enough to not only pay out your expenses, but something that covers you all in terms of, you know, some income.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and that is an enormous challenge, especially. I find that especially, you know, talking to people from around the world, other musicians from around the world, it seems like in the West here, the prospects of being paid to play music are very slim.
Yeah, I'm
comparison.
thinking maybe
comparison.
I'm thinking for you guys maybe summertime. You know, I think of all the numbers of campgrounds around
Yeah,
around
that's where
Ontario.
we're hitting. We're hitting all sorts of places like that.
And
Campgrounds, golf courses.
wineries, if someone's having a party at a winery, there's
Yep.
plenty of space usually in their parking lots for us.
Yeah. Municipalities, service clubs,
Right.
Yeah.
chambers of commerce, all of these different places.
If the power plant parties and stuff too. But
Yeah, yeah. So
things
that's
like that,
corporate.
yeah. Or
But
I
yeah,
guess, yeah,
there's
corporate.
there's all sorts of stuff that we
And
are
another way people
constantly
can
marketing
support
to.
another way people can support you is they can go over to our website and they can download your music on high res audio.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
All
another
the
way
music.
that's another way to support you guys.
Yes.
We're looking at means and ways of trying to find ways of raising revenue for the artists that are on the label.
Mm.
You can go over to indietunes.com. You can find Boiler Beats' music there. The links take you to the most popular download and streaming services as well. So if you're a member of iTunes or Apple Music or Spotify, you can go over there and stream to your heart's content or download as part of your membership as well. They get credit for those downloads. So please use that option whenever you have a chance. It's a great way to support artists. And if you don't belong to a streaming service, you can go and download their music for $1 a track.
Yeah.
It's better to own it anyways.
That's right.
I think. I mean, I can't count the number of times that I've had like a playlist on. Well, I was using Spotify, thinking about switching now for sure, but yeah, when I would have a playlist on Spotify and I'd be listening to it, and I would notice tracks grayed out.
Yeah.
Because the artist or the publisher had removed the track, and like I'd be really sad, be like, damn it, I liked that song.
Yeah.
So it's really like, you know,
Buy the music.
Buy music, especially if, you know, if you want to make sure that you own that copy, instead of just renting it from
Right. Well,
and paying the landlord to
you
just
can
rent
find
it.
Boiler Beach over at indietunes.com. You guys also have your own website as well.
That's right.
So you can find their music there. You can find it on any download and streaming platform that's available. So there's really no excuse to not support independent artists like these guys. 2025. What's ahead for you guys? What's the goal for 2025? Have you set any goals?
Oh yeah, we had a meeting at the beginning of the year, the three of us, and we set some pretty great goals. They were measurable and all that. SMART goals, they're called.
Yeah.
And one of my goals, I really want a sync licensing deal, just at least one this year. We've had a couple of bites, but they weren't willing to do business. They just wanted stuff for free.
Give us your music for nothing.
So we said, yeah, no thanks. And they weren't even open to kicking a little bit back to us once their project started making money.
Well, when the show goes off live here, we'll talk about that for a second. Got a couple ideas I'm going to throw your way.
Sure.
But I mean, booking that stage is the big thing.
Booking that stage. How can people book that stage if they want to book it? What's the best place?
The easiest way to contact us is through the website boilerbeach.ca. There's a page there that says talk to us. There's a page about the mobile concert stage, MCS. If you click on either the talk to us or the MCS page, there's a contact there. Just contact us and we'll figure it out. We'll come to your event and we'll bring the fun.
Okay, I'm gonna go before we get off here. I'm going to put that in the chat here.
Sure.
Boilerbeach.ca. We'll share that out to everybody there. There's been some great comments tonight. I'm sorry I haven't been able to get to them all, but there's some great stuff. People like what we're talking about tonight on the show, so really glad you guys came on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Dean
I
Bow,
wish Mike would let me get a word in edgewise, though.
Mike's been pretty quiet tonight. I think he's learning and listening.
We used to sitting behind a drum set.
Here's an interesting comment that Deanbo makes. Deanbo is one of our regular watchers from Halifax, Nova Scotia. He says, what was said earlier is so true about playing too often in one small place. Feels like overkill. In my city, that happens all too often. Seen the same band 3 times in less than 2 months' time. I can never figure out why venues don't expand, bringing in new bands more often to extend the duration between bands being on stage again and again. Every 3 months is fine to me. Spread the talent around a city that's 600,000.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
Good comment.
I mean that's totally reasonable. I mean there's campgrounds that we've played in before that are like, yeah, maybe not this year. Because they just want variety. They want a little bit more variety.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I would totally do that if I was a venue owner. I wouldn't be booking the same guy every 3 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. There's all kinds of different opportunities. It's and I know Terry, I know you're like the business force behind the band. You're the guy that's out there trying to find out new venues, new opportunities. Yeah, just digging, buddy?
Digging the grind. Yeah. Yeah. My God.
Trying to find all the right places for you guys to be able to play.
Yeah.
You guys are not without your challenges like any other artist. It's trying to find those paying gigs to make you and keep you financially solvent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do have a ton of amazing support.
We do. Yeah.
That without that, we would not be able to do what we do.
Do you guys have a tip jar over at your website?
We don't have a tip jar at the website. That's something that it's one of the 2 things I'm working on right now with our ISP. So
right.
Yeah, that's the other thing is a lot of people talk about getting as much as you can from your fans. And yep. I would much rather have a lot more fans that give us what they feel is right.
Right. Well, we got a tip jar right there. So if you like what we're doing over here on this show, there's a tip jar right there. There's a QR code. You can scan that with your phone. It goes directly to our PayPal. So we're not proud. We'll take $1.
Yeah,
we're always happy to take a tip. Every once in a while, we have some people that watch the show. They'll tip us $50, and it helps keep the lights on here. Helps us do a lot of the stuff that we do to help out artists like Boiler Beach. We only exist. Indie Tunes Records only exist because of artists like this that entrust us with their music. and we certainly appreciate the trust that you placed in us to help you get your music out in front of as many people as we can, and that's always our ongoing goal. Closing thoughts, guys, got something you want to say to people before we shut down the show?
If anything resonated with anyone watching tonight, feel free to just reach out to us. We're very accessible. We're very friendly. We answer every message. Networking is the huge thing too. So if someone's watching and they're an artist, maybe there's an opportunity there. So I'll leave it with that. Yeah.
Mike?
Just that I hope people keep enjoying our music. If you had told me 6 years ago that we would have over 150,000 streams of our music on just Spotify, I wouldn't have believed it. But now I'm thinking like a million's not out of the question for us.
Yeah.
No. And everything becomes collective, right? And that's where we're heading. We've had more success as a label, and all the artists on the label last year had a tremendous amount of growth. That was a real encouraging thing for us, because we did switch strategies. One of the things we stopped doing was releasing albums and release single by single. The only thing we did differently with you guys was we released your Christmas album, because that was the only way to get it out in time for Christmas for people to hear it. But it's a new way that we've been doing it. A lot of bands and artists on the label are doing waterfall releases now, and we're finding great success with that. And we'll talk more about that as the year progresses as well. Well, it's been a pleasure having you guys on the show. I hope you guys come back again, because I think you guys have some great insights as a working band, and as artists out there, and you're an encouragement to those that would strive to do what you're doing. So thanks for joining us. Members of Boiler Beach, Mike, Terry, and Andrea, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Well, this has been the Indie Show. I'm Kenny. You're not. Have a great end of your week, everybody. See you soon.